All right, guys, I am Jeffrey John, and as always, I am here to bring you some more great SBF content. Tonight, we've got an absolutely thrilling matchup in store for you as we're about to watch the Motown Ballers take on the Frogs from Mudville, home of this year's #1 overall draft pick, Josh the Fur Robinson. Josh Robinson coming from UNC, and look at the other side of the court. There's Woodson as well coming from UNC, last year's NCAA national champions. This is the first time they will ever compete head-to-head against each other uh, on separate pro teams. There's Woodson right there. Star defensive player, made a splash in that blacktop tournament not too long ago. There's your starting lineup from both teams. Jason Towns playing an interesting 4 position. Champ Hansen looks to eat tonight. This is truly a case of built through free agency, built through the trade market. As the Ballers, almost every single piece starting in this lineup came via trade this offseason. Woodson was drafted, but the rest via trade. Frogs, on the other hand, a lot of free agent signings, a lot of draft picks, not a lot of traded players. Champ's going to drop it down to Robinson, who puts up a quick hook, and that's good. Josh Robinson gets on the board quick and early. He got off to a slow start in his debut. Didn't play bad, but definitely didn't play #1 overall pick worthy. He's looking to redeem himself here. And that's a block for Champ Hansen. Levi McNeil tries to go up strong. Champ Hansen denies him. Here goes Cleveland. Cleveland thinking about it. He pumps twice. This time he's going to kick out McNeil. He's going to have to put it up. Off the front of the rim. That's no good. Robinson secures the rebound. Over to Ben Adams. Passing it around. Ben Adams, quick shot over Woodson. That's not going to fall. Great defense there from Brendan. Here comes Jason Towns. Good little crossover at the rim. He finishes.
First personal foul.
Jason Towns looking to bring some exciting offense to that 4 position. He is truly a 2 or a 3. He is an undersized 4, but he's doing it here in Motown, and man, it has been exciting. Honestly, I didn't think it was going to work, but Jason Towns has looked great at the 4. That's part of the reason why I enjoy calling these games. It takes a lot of time out of my schedule, but I actually really do enjoy calling it because I get to see some of these things actually play out. I personally think that I know what I'm doing when I game plan. I know the best ways to build a team, as does everybody else. Everyone thinks that the way they do it is the best way. And truly, running the SBF and commentating these games has been the only way I've had the opportunity to learn that there are so many different ways to be successful out there. And that's what makes sports just so beautiful and fun to watch. These Ballers, the way they constructed this team, never in a million years. And Woodson puts it on the floor and scores. Never in a million years would I have thought that this was possible or that I would even attempt to do this. They just stayed patient and waited for good players to fall into their lap. And that's not an exaggeration. And did you see Woodson get up there to block Robinson? Great defensive play. I mean, he got Jason Towns for cheap because the Lynx, they wanted to trade. They wanted draft picks for next year. They got Levi McNeil, honestly, for a steal. I mean, it wasn't a steal, not like, it wasn't like a Walmart steal, but it was like a discounted Meijer steal. For those of you that live in Michigan, you know what I mean. And what defense. These Ballers look fantastic right now. Levi McNeil, a former MVP just 2 seasons ago. They got Jerry Johnson for very little. Jatavius Cleveland, all they had to do is give away a point guard that was underperforming for them. They made all these trades, and what a move from Levi, but he can't finish. They grabbed all these players and just kind of shoved them together and said, good luck. And there's Champ Hansen with a quick score. That brings me back to the old days. I love watching Champ Hansen on the fast break. He is one of the fastest power forwards out there. And here's a jump ball opportunity between Dyson and McNeil. The last time Champ Hansen and Bryce Dyson played together on the same team, it was for Magic City the year they went to the championship. Champ Hansen likes his matchup. Double team comes. Vern Beard, open three. Got it! Woodson tried to drop down to double team. Instead allowed his man to shoot the open three. Cleveland swings it over to Woodson. Woodson back to McNeil. McNeil driving. Kick back Ben Henry. Jatavius Cleveland sets a screen. Henry up and under. Henry scores. And then the Frogs. A lot of people will think, okay, you went out, you drafted a Shaq-like center, #1 overall. That's not the best way to quickly rebuild a team. I think that's the safest way to word this. I mean, it is a good way to rebuild your team, and I mean, I think the Frogs will be successful, and I think Robinson will have a great career, but it's not the quickest way to do it. I think most people would agree when you go out and you pick up a Josh Robinson #1 overall, you're kind of signing up for a slow build. And what I mean by that is you've got like one more draft, maybe two more drafts before you have enough talent to win the finals. So everybody kind of thought maybe the Frogs would be very conservative in free agency. No, they went out and they attacked. They landed Vern Beard. They landed a Keon Powell. They landed a Bryce Dyson. They went out and they traded for a Champ Hansen. They're trying to win now. They believe Josh Robinson can do that for them. And, I mean, they're going to have to prove me wrong. Like I said, I think Robinson, what a shot from Jerry Johnson. That's the type of stuff he puts up from time to time. I think the Frogs are very talented. I just think it's really hard to win games with a Shaq-like build as your superstar. They need that true #1 scoring option. Robinson will be there to anchor your defense, anchor your interior offense, but you need that #1. And maybe Vern Beard can be that. With enough progression this season, maybe Vern Beard can be that. Maybe that's what they see in this team. And what a three there from Ben Adams. Benjamin Adams. Benji. And how about Woodson so far today? The defense has been unreal. And Jatavius Cleveland, he might have the best matchup I've ever seen going up against Ricky Parker. That's an easy lay-in.
Assist goes to.
That's just not fair. 2K should be punished for allowing them to switch. Ben Adams thinking about it. He swings it back to Vern Beard. Vern Beard up top, 8 seconds on the clock. Pick from Champ. Vern driving, floater, got it! Vern Beard, the former Dragon, former Ohio Bobcat. And there's a quick timeout from the Bobcats as they see Cletus White ready to check in. Intimidates them a little bit. They're going to call that timeout. They're going to talk it over. Last season, these were two of the worst teams in the league, both of which looking to compete this season. Josh Morgan with a quick shot. That's not going to fall for him. Here comes IT. Isaiah Thomas, number 39. Pump fakes, lays it up, and got it! Isaiah Thomas coming alive. He's somebody that if he becomes a little more active in the league, earning some attribute points, he could make this Frog team very dangerous. And Cleveland able to get it up and over both of them. They're going to go right back to Isaiah with this bench unit. Isaiah kicks it to Ricky, back to Vern Beard. Pick and roll. Vern hits Cletus down low, and he scores. Frogs are keeping it a close game. These Ballers, though, they built an exciting offensive team. Morgan gonna fire a 3. That one rattles home. Joshua Morgan coming over from the Tornadoes last year. The year before that, he was part of the Assassins. Great bench player, can play the 2, 3, or 4. Can be a 5 in a really small ball lineup where you're sacrificing rebound. Ollie Moon's got 1 second to put it up from the logo. Ollie not able to hit it. Guys, that's the end of quarter number 1. The Motown Ballers lead your hometown Frogs by a score of 20-18. We'll be back in a few moments. Here we go. Albert Myers bringing the ball up. He's going to kick it over to Jerry Johnson. Jerry swinging it around. Cortez has it. Jerry driving left. Thinking about it. He's a scoring machine. Joshua Morgan gets another one to go. Man, are they using him more than I expected. Here comes Bryce Dyson. He's back in the game now. Takes the screen from Robin Crawford. Driving, lays it up and in. Both these teams showing all offense tonight. You might be thinking, I mean, hands in the face, why aren't these shots missing? Neither of these teams have great perimeter or interior defenders, to be honest. So having a hand in your face is might as well as good as nothing. Morgan attacking the rim. He's able to get it to go. Like Robin Crawford right there. He was the rim protector on that play. Robin Crawford is known for his facilitating and interior scoring as a big man. I would say interior defense is last on that list. Isaiah Thomas at a 76 overall might be the best perimeter defender on the floor for the Frogs. Cletus White, he's got to put it up, and there's a Myers block. Josh Morgan picks it up. Here come the Ballers. Looking to push tempo. Myers through contact finishes. Josh Robinson looking to change the game and come back in. Dyson with a pretty pass down to Crawford. How did he get that through traffic? I have absolutely no idea. But Bryce Dyson was able to, I'm thinking that was just a tad bit lucky. Ali Moon to a wide open Roberto Cortez. The Ballers strike again. This offense is looking perfect. And timeout Bullfrogs. That's a really good timeout from their coach. They're down by 8. Their defense is not stopping anything. They need to get Robinson back onto the floor ASAP as pronto. Ball inbounded now to Ricky Parker. Swing over to Ben Adams. Ben has it up top, over to Bryce Dyson. Dyson bounces it down to Champ. Trying to get somebody open. There's Ricky Parker. Ricky's going to drive right at the rim. Puts it up and in. Here comes Ollie Moon now. Ollie Moon swings it over to Cortez. Down low to Morgan. Morgan is going to put it up over Champ. Champ hand in his face. No good. Albert Myers, though, with the rebound and the putback. These Frogs, they lost their opening week matchup to the Crabs, and now here they are struggling to the Ballers. Dyson Had an open mid-range opportunity, didn't take it. There's Ricky Parker, wide open. He's not going to take it either. Frogs hesitating right now. 1 second left. Parker goes up. No good. Champ Hansen put back. Good hustle play there from Champ. These Frogs have got to stop hesitating. When you get an open look, you got to take it. Ollie Moon finds Myers in a good position.
Timeout Ballers. It's T-shirt bonanza. Make some noise. In for the Ballers.
All right, I am back, all done tucking the kids in, and I'm focused on the game. Levi McNeil hands it off to Ben Henry. Henry driving, slams it home! Ben Henry just put Bryce Dyson on a poster. Look at that vertical. Ben Henry got so high on that play. Bryce Dyson takes the champ screen. Dyson pumps once. Double team. There's going to be an open man. It's Ben Adams. He doesn't shoot it. Ben again hesitates on that shot. Dyson gets his man on the floor. Misses the layup. Ben Henry fell, but Bryce Dyson missed the layup. Ballers up by 8. Henry looking to put Dyson on another poster. Kicks it back to McNeil. McNeil, he's going to pull, deep 2, that's not going to go. Rebound, Jason Towns, and a steal. Ben Adams comes away with it. Frogs in transition, down low to Dyson. Dyson lays it up and in. Make that just a 6-point lead for your Motown Ballers as the Frogs strike back. Woodson setting a screen. Levi McNeil going to come off of it. Pumps twice, thinking about it. Woodson off of a couple screens. He's not going to shoot that. He's not a shooter. He will pick and roll with Cleveland and find him open. Woodson locking down defensively, grabbing some rebounds, and now facilitating. This man can do it all but score. Dyson now driving right at Ben Henry. Great foul in my opinion. Don't let Dyson put you on a poster. That's what Dyson was going for on that play. I feel like Ben Henry stopped the momentum, did what he had to do to keep the Ballers from being posterized. Bryce Dyson is one of the most athletic wings in the game. And here comes Keon Powell. Out goes Robinson, who had a very quiet second check-in. And that's what I'm talking about. It's like I'm saying Robinson was quiet on that last check-in, but he probably did some work. But for a center of his build, is it enough work to lead your team to victories? You got to look at what Mike Honcho's doing right now for the Chupacabras. That's a scoring center build. That could lead a bad team to more victories, in my opinion. Robinson's the type of player you give him, you make Robinson the number 2 superstar to a number 1 superstar, and you've got a dynasty for centuries. Robinson as your number 1, trying to do it all, I think you're setting Robinson up for a fail. 3 seconds left. Dyson, he's just going to have to put it up. That's not going to fall, and Towns has the rebound. Here comes Jason. Jason hands it off to McNeil. McNeil going right at Champ. Alley-oop attempt to Cleveland. Cleveland jumped a little early and lost track of the ball while it was in the air. A prime Bryce Dyson might have been able to be a superstar number 1 for these Frogs. But current Bryce Dyson I don't think can be. And that's a good score. That's the type of stuff they need from Bryce. Make me put my foot in my mouth. Vern Beard and Bryce Dyson could be elite superstars. McNeil can't get it to go before the half. That was a good look. McNeil struggling early in this game, though. 4-point lead for your Ballers, guys. We'll be back in a few minutes with the second half. All right, guys, we're back. Sorry for that brief pause. I had to change around the recording equipment a little bit. I got a surprise coming for you, and you'll know when you hear it. All right, and here we go with the start of quarter number 3. Frogs down by 4, but they have the ball. Beard swings it over to Dyson. Dyson having himself a decent day so far. Pick and roll. Bryce, 3-ball. That's up and no good. Woodson rebounds it. And who do I hear knocking on my door?
It is I.
The bowling ball.
It is the one and only Kenneth Michael.
That's why we had that brief pause, guys. Remember? Like 30 seconds ago, I told you there was a surprise coming. Well,
It's a good surprise.
as you joined perfect time to see Woodson get postered. Did you see that?
I did. It was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, Ben Adams with that great step up. So what I've been talking about in this game a lot is Josh Robinson, and are the Frogs setting him up for failure, making him that number 1 pick? Do they have enough around him to succeed? I more or less am trying to figure out, why is Michael Bay Honcho having all this success with the Chupacabras, whereas Josh Robinson's off to kind of a slow start here for the Frogs?
It really depends on a player's situation, in my opinion, on whether or not they take off immediately when they get into the league. And you got to think that Robinson's situation, being the top pick in the league, is going to be a little bit worse considering the fact that they had that number 1 pick.
Yeah, and I mean, my thing goes back to player build. I look at Robinson with that Shaq-like build. Shaq wasn't really like championship Shaq until he gained himself a Kobe.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas Shaq was still Shaq, don't get me wrong. There's no doubt watching Robinson play. I can't wait to watch him square up with Honcho and see what happens there. There's no doubt watching him play that Robinson is one of the most fearsome, dominant big men in our league. But does this Frog team have their Kobe to help lead them to titles? Whereas the Chupacabras, on the other hand, Honcho has a Cayman Cider next to him, a Kiere Prince next to him. They're just loaded right now at star power, and those Chupacabras are looking really good.
Yeah, with that much talent around you, it definitely elevates your play. Not to take away much that he's done so far, but when you get him put into these nice situations, it sets up flourishing.
Yeah, and I just love to see this rivalry continue. It was the best rivalry in the NCAA last season, and now it couldn't have started this season any better with Honcho's success. Just raising more questions. Was number 3 more deserving than number 1? Josh Robinson on the wrong end of that slow-mo cam. Three-point lead. Vern Beard trying for it all. Gets it up court. Levi McNeil. Levi, he's going to pump once. He's thinking about it. Kicks it back. They give it right back to him. Going up on Vern Beard. Spin move. Attacking the rim and scores. That's why they call him the Rim Wizard. When you put him around that rim, he just finds a way to get that ball into the basket.
Just a knack for it that we have very rarely ever seen players of his size have.
Ben Adams. Good looking three. Can't get it to go. Cortez now driving at Ben. Drops it down. Josh Morgan. Turn fade. Puts it up and got it. Josh Morgan having himself a night. These Frogs, I'm just looking at their potential. The potential of Ben Adams, Vern Beard, then IT showed some life tonight in the Discord. If he comes back and starts to develop this player, these Frogs could be so dangerous with having Robinson and Champ Hansen down low. Now, looking at Ben Adams, he's kind of just a shell right now. He's like a pile of clay. Let's say I give you this clay and I tell you, mold him how you want him for this Frog team. And when I say that, I mean pick player tendencies from a pro player, in real life player that you would like to see Ben Adams replicate.
That's a tough one. But for Ben Adams, you really do I think you worded it perfectly by calling it calling him Clay. So I'm going to say if I want him to turn into some pro player now, I would turn him into... Now, I think maybe this is a little bit of a cop-out answer, but I would turn him into like a Klay Thompson type. A guy who's not going to dribble a whole lot because he doesn't have a whole lot of crazy athleticism, which Klay does, but he doesn't need to use that. He plays that Robin to somebody else's Batman. Yeah. And I think that's the kind of role that he's going to be perfect as.
See, and I'm going to go a little different. I think Ben Adams could be Batman, honestly. I really do think he could. I mean, look at that. That's a 76 overall putting on those moves, and now he's at the free throw line. If I'm thinking about it, I don't know how this guy, the person I'm about to name, I don't know how his play style translates to the modern NBA. I mean, Dirk Nowitzki translated to the modern NBA just fine. So I'm going to say Larry Bird.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I'm going to say Larry Bird, and I think a Larry Bird type build for this Ben Adams player could be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I absolutely think that he has the potential to be that kind of person. And from what I saw out of him in college, it looks like that's the kind of role he wants to take. It's just whether or not he can fill those kind of shoes when he starts upgrading his player.
And I think, let's say he purchased the tendency change to get Larry Bird tendos. With Vern Beard's playmaking, Josh Robinson's paint presence, and then you add a Larry Bird at the 3/4 position, this team could compete this season.
Yeah, it's hard to see them not competing if everything goes as planned out on their team's roadmap.
Yeah, exactly. And depending on how hard these guys upgrade, like depending on how fast Ben Adams becomes a superstar, how fast Vern Beard becomes a superstar, if they're able to do it this season with this current squad, remember, they've got a Bryce Dyson playing fourth. So they've got a lot of pieces, but they're just relying very, very hard on this development of this squad. I mean, they're hanging tough right now with this Ballers team. Defense is picking up here in the second half. I'd like to see the Motown Ballers attack Ricky Parker a little more than they have been. I saw a few possessions ago where Ricky Parker was down in the paint, matched up on Josh Morgan, and Josh Morgan kicked out. In that situation, you've got to put it up. And a nice interception there. Here comes Jerry Johnson. Jerry driving at the rim, and one.
Ooh!
Personal foul.
Jer Bear.
Shooting.
And back to what you were saying about Ricky Parker,
At the
I
line
think
for one.
when you see a guy who's as small as Ricky Parker and you watch them play defense, you expect this. You expect somebody to be like, "Oh, well, we need to go directly at this person all the time." Look at that. There's this big size difference. There's just something about the way that Ricky Parker plays, where he plays unafraid based off of his size, that you want to see out of smaller players. Because if you're gonna have a smaller guy who's a defensive liability on your team, you don't want him to play like he's small. Otherwise, that really exacerbates the difference in height.
Now, you used to be the biggest Jason Towns fan I know. The Ballers have Jason Towns lining up at the power forward position. And they run just this fantastic fast break offense now, like you're seeing here, where Jason Towns is always out in front. He's getting steals, and the crazy part is Jason Towns is getting some rebounds and protecting the rim decently well. What are your thoughts about Jason Towns as a forward going forward this season?
Well, if you have Jason Towns as a 4, you basically have to accept the fact that he's not going to compete with some of these other huge-bodied 4s that you see in the SBF. There are a lot of front court duos at the 4 and 5 spot that are going to just have their way with him down low. But his athleticism and his quickness and his ability to find the basketball are what allows him to stay at the power forward position and play it so effectively. He's able to destroy people in those fast breaks. And he's
And
able to keep the floor spread,
And
not
I mean,
going to congest your offense.
keep an eye on him the rest of this game, because my biggest point with what I was saying is it's weird because this guy is competing in the paint. Because I agree with everything you just said at the beginning of the season. But so far this season, like watch him down there at the bottom of your screen. Jason Towns, an underside, and another steal for Woodson. This guy has just been defensive monster tonight. Check out Jason Towns when he's back on defense. He is just hanging with his guy. Right now he's matched up with Robinson. We'll see if this speed becomes an issue for him. Pick and roll here. And Levi McNeil with a blow-by.
Woo!
Levi coming alive. That was so fast. All right, let's focus on Jason Towns down low, guarding number 37. Let's watch him when he boxes out. The Frogs are playing a tall ball lineup with Keon Powell at the small forward. And Robinson, no, it wasn't Robinson, it was Bryce Dyson. I was like, what? Robinson with a tough shot, I thought. Here comes Woodson. Woodson, another dime down low.
The assist.
Woodson has been great for this team, facilitating today.
That is something I was not expecting to see out of Woodson going into his first season.
And another steal from Brendan Woodson. If he's not Defensive Player of the Year this year, I will be shocked. Woodson, just so you know, early in the first quarter, got a block on Josh Robinson, had a couple of steals in the first half, and now you just saw a couple of steals here in the second half. Pass back to Ricky Parker. 7 seconds on the clock. 5. Ricky driving. Down low to Dyson. Dyson up and over Levi McNeil. Under 5 minutes to go. It's now or never for these Bullfrogs. Morgan puts it up. That's not going to go. And that's what I'm talking about. Look at Jason Towns. He knows he's not going to win many rebound battles, so the Ballers have him not crashing. What a block from Jerry! Jason instantly just went with that transition, giving up on any chance at a rebound, and I think that's smart. And I feel like he's just being creative with the way he plays power forward, and it's just mesmerizing. Here we go, true test. Jason Towns almost got the block, but Robinson just too good. I remember those Charm City Jason Town days. I miss those.
Oh, those were definitely some crazy days. Bryce Dyson has been very openly a target that the Talons wanted during that period, showing off his ability to score on the inside and just utilize his athleticism in general.
This is why I miss Levi McNeil.
Yeah, Levi McNeil. What a story he's been over the last few seasons. The meteoric rise. And now to see him on the Ballers, I'm really interested to see where his next step is and what direction.
That's what I was talking about earlier in the game, is the thing that the SBF has helped me learn about myself is that I truly don't know basketball as well as I thought I did. I think everybody thinks that their opinion in sports is always the best. That's just how it is. Everybody thinks that they're the smartest. If everybody's put onto a football field, basketball court, they'd be able to coach the best. That's just because we're all competitive. And this is truly opening my eyes to how many different ways there are to build a squad. Like, to see the way the Ballers did it. They were patient about it. And they just snuck in and they made huge trades that you wouldn't think were possible. Like Jatavius Cleveland for Jordan Harrison. And then they went out, and when the Assassins decided they were moving on from Levi, they went out and they traded and grabbed Levi. They were the first ones there to strike. And then the Stallions wanted to move into the first round desperately, so they jumped on Jerry Johnson. The same story goes for the other players they traded for this year as well. Bottom line is they just kept trading, kept adding talent. Jason Towns. They found Jason Towns for dirt cheap. And there's the block that I was talking about. Towns protecting the rim. So just to see a team slowly, methodically dissect the league via trades has been fun to watch.
Yeah, and I think that you said it in the beginning, describing it perfectly, being patient. Like, he didn't go out and try to make these trades. He waited for opportunities to come up and got the best value out of trades. And it really shows how you got that value.
And there was a big-time steal from Jason Towns. And then they went and they got Woodson in the draft to just add it all together. They went out and they traded for all these superstar offensive talents. And then they drafted the best defender in the NCAA. Like, on paper, these Ballers should be scary. Could you imagine when they figure it out? And I love seeing every team and their different build style. The Frogs, they built via free agents. They built via a good mix of everything. Free agency, the draft, and the trade market. They used it all. You got the Talons, who normally build via the trade market, switched to free agency last season, and now this season they built via the draft. Like, the Talons keep picking one category and sticking to it. You got the Hoop Stars, who have been adamant about building through the draft. You got the Bobcats, who basically run the same style that the Frogs are, where they build through each phase at a very minor level. I would say if I had to pick one phase that the Bobcats utilize the hardest, though, it would probably be the trade market. Last season, the trades that they made to get their squad that won a finals was insane.
Yeah, they made a bunch of moves, and the end result, by the end of the season, you just take a look at their roster compared to where they started, and you're like, wow.
Yeah. And here come the reserves, guys. Don't forget, right after this game, we are going to give you box scores. So you'll get to see how your best players performed today. Unfortunately, the Bullfrogs didn't look the greatest. They'll have another opportunity coming up, though, as the SBF continues to roll on. Isaiah Thomas out there getting some garbage time minutes. I think it's a really good move from the Frogs to allow Isaiah to develop a little bit. Every minute he spends on the court is another minute of getting some more, getting his feet under him.
And even if it's against reserves, just seeing them in the big leagues, just trying to get an idea of who he's going to be is going to be important when evaluating a bench role.
Guys, if you haven't already, go check out the Football League. It's been fantastic. Ran by yours truly, me. I do all the work with no help from anybody. I'd really appreciate the support on my content that I create.
But it's mine.
Just kind of riding it out. Just kind of riding it out.
Yep.
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 Mm-hmm.
There you have it. The exciting finish. Bryce Dyson dropped a 20 burger tonight. Robinson 8 and 8. Deion Powell with 11 minutes and 3 turnovers. He did real good. Ben Adams 8 points for 3 of 5. Levi McNeil 18 burger. Josh Morgan with stat sheet stuffing. I thought he played well tonight. Jason Towns, I love his defense. A steal, block. Where's Woodson? Woodson, look at those. 4 steals, 2 blocks, 4 assists. Woodson was good. All right,
Pretty
guys.
good statistical night for him.
And there you have it. I'll catch you guys in the next one.